Then they closed the hallways because Howard had a problem with me saying good morning to him in the hallway. So then I go to the company like, this is bullshit that I have to wait near the elevators for the guy to pass by to go to my job. And they thought I was crazy for being mad about that.
Wait, you couldn't say hello to him?
I would pass him over here. And it got blown out of proportion because Jimmy thought he heard something else. But the fact is, you're hearing it from me.
Right.
After all these years, I'm like, you know what? I've been in the same building as Howard for a long time, and we've gone at it. Steven knows more than anyone. And I'm like, it's time to just say good morning to the guy.
There's a really funny video of it.
Yeah, because he switched his hours.
Right.
So me and Kenny would be walking down the hall. Him and Ronnie would be walking the other way. And one morning, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to say good morning. And that's all it was. And then Kenny sort of started chuckling. I go, what's up? He's like, he's so mad. I'm like, that's me saying good morning? So then it happened another 2 or 3 times. And every time I saw him, I wasn't being a dick. I would just look him right in the eye and say, good morning. Because I'm actually pretty friendly with Ronnie when I see him around here. We would leave this building together all the time. Ronnie couldn't be nicer to me. He's so fucking cool. So then next thing I know, there's some bullshit story that someone was bothering him, so they need to close the hallways. And then I got a lot of people around here that, you know, look out for me and respect me. They pulled me aside, more than a couple people, and said, that's all because of you saying good morning. I'm like, are you kidding me? So then I told these guys that it's bullshit that I got to wait in the elevator banks for him to pass by. And they're like, yeah, you know, you shouldn't be bothered by that at all. I'm like, really? You tell me that, you know, that I'm an important piece of this company, and now you got me in the elevator banks waiting for this guy to pass by, and then I'm allowed to come in.
Oh, you should have just waited in your office. Oh.
That's amazing.
David Singer with the zingers.
You don't know that story?
No, I never heard it, but I thought he was airlifted right into a studio. Like, I didn't know he walked into hallways.
But that was...
You have to see the video. The video is hilarious.
That's funny. I got to see it.
Well, then I dramatically, because I'm now, there's glass. So he passed by and I went, good morning. And then you see the security guards waiting, and then they wave me in like, yep, now you could come to work.
And then Kenny comes in with the
and then they wonder why I'm mad.
And they held everybody back.
Dude, if there was an inkling where I was being a dick to him, then I would understand I would understand. But the company can't go to him and go, look, the guy's just saying good morning. Maybe it's time for you to get over it. And I've also said I would sit down with Howard any day of the week and discuss our little issues because I think I think he still doesn't sleep well at night because of me.
I think you would be a great guest on his show,
and it'd be one conversation, and we would be over it. Right. I know we would.
It start with him having you guys thrown out of a press conference or something.
Oh Christ, that's
where it started, though, right?
Steven brings up a good point, though. Opie and Howard being on the air together would be a great.
That'd be a great interview.
That would be an amazing conversation.
Well, listen, you guys have a lot of the history together.
Yeah,
and you were both in the two different boats in the same water, going at the same time at the same stations. and stuff.
His boat was faster. I have no problem saying that, but he could do the exit interview for me.
There you go.
It started in Boston. Me and Ant did a bit called Black Jeopardy. There was a story in the newspaper, something about Jeopardy and black people. So as, you know, hopefully entertaining radio host, we took that, spun it, and made a bit. Black Jeopardy. Howard thought it was too close to a bit he was doing at the time, which I think was Minority Jeopardy.
I never heard it.
Maybe
I never heard
that.
I never heard it.
And so he talked about us. We're nobodies in Worcester, Massachusetts, and here's Howard Stern from our hometown. I mean, we're Long Islanders, but in New York City, talking about Opie and this Opie and Anthony. We got to keep an eye on these guys, right? And my PD panicked, like, oh, that's never good if Howard's talking about it. And me and Anna like, fuck that. That's great. And when we came to New York, we're like, we can't let this guy destroy us like he destroyed every other show, like the Bella from Philly and everywhere else. So we fucking fought him. You know, punch for punch, because we didn't want him to take us out, and that's where it all began. And then in there was some ugly shit that happened, and there is one thing that I would absolutely apologize to him if I saw him face to face.
But he's buried the hatchet with everybody else.
Huh?
He's buried the hatchet with most everybody else that he had feuds with.
You know, Brother Weeze, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm taking up all the time.
Yeah.
No, this is
actually a great story.
So Brother Weeze,
I know the story.
Brother Weeze is my mentor.
Yeah.
And here's the problem. This is the problem. If everyone needs to know, Brother Weeze is everything to me in this business. There's a matter of fact, there was a time when me and Ant were syndicated. There was a station in Rochester that wanted to put me up in mornings against Brother Weeze. I said I just will not fucking do it. That's what this guy means to me. And I even had to have a conversation with Ant. I'm like, you gotta understand this one. There's no fucking way I'm going up against him. I just can't fucking do that. And to Ant's credit, he was totally cool about it, and I think they moved us into afternoons or something like that. Anyway, this guy means the world to me. So when Howard was syndicated in Rochester, you know how he would like study the personality and then figure out the weakness. The weakness with Weeze is
he'd always attack who his competition was.
Weeze
he would go after him viciously.
Weeze has a daughter that's a bit slow, but an amazing person and personality, right?
Right.
Fucking, if you know your Howard Stern history, he destroyed Weeze through that. I never forgot that, knowing that this guy was my mentor, and I was a nobody, and so maybe that got
triggered something.
Well, that got in my head. Like if I ever get the chance, I'm definitely gonna like take my shots back because of that. Right or wrong, that's what I was thinking. And then fast forward, I was lucky enough with my career and Anthony and everything else. We were on the same page for a while, and I took my fucking shots. But that's where it all began.
Yeah, I had a dinner with a kid in Arizona who was the son of Steve Dahl. I hear a lot from radio guys. So every week I'm in a different city and I'm doing every radio station in town to promote my shows in that
Lucky
city.
You.
And I did I was in.
Do you want to tell my Billboard story in any of them?
I was in Arizona and Steve Dahl sent his son out there to cover the White Sox spring training out there. And he was turning 21 while I was in Arizona. And I said, you got to let me take you out for a nice dinner. You're 21 and I'm going to spend some money and do for you what everybody did for me when I was broke. And we had dinner and we talked about his dad. Steve Dahl's a legend in Chicago, and started talking about Howard. Howard gave me my start. I've always been grateful to Howard for giving me my start. And he goes, when I was 8 years old, Howard Stern wished AIDS on me. And I was like, what? And he said, and he told me this story about how Stern had just moved into the Chicago market, wanted to know everything about this guy, Steve Dahl, and just started attacking him and saying, I know he's a little league coach for his son. And fuck him, fuck his son. I hope oh God, if you're listening, please, God, I beg of you, God, please give AIDS to Steve's son.
Oh no, well, he hasn't done it recently, but he did it for many, many years. He would wish cancer on somebody or AIDS on somebody or whatever. Sure.
Now I'm tagging you because I'm going with that now. Okay, and Howard to Howard's credit, sorry. To Howard's credit, he called Brother Weeze, and he's called a bunch of these guys over the years and apologized and made amends with like Brother
Which
Weeze.
I've also been hearing about from radio guys all over the country.
Weeze called me and went, I just had the nicest conversation with Howard. He apologized, and so I want to tell. I want to tell the whole story. Hold on. So Weeze goes because Weeze knows that I was protecting Weeze all those years, and when I was able to take my shots, I did.
Right.
So Weeze now is trying to help me out. So they're good. Howard apologized. Weeze accepts. It's all good with those two. And even Howard said, look, I would love to take you out to dinner next time you're in New York, whatever, right? Wow, this is some real good inside shit. So
inside
So then Weeze goes to Howard, what about my boy Opie?
Right.
And Howard said, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for Opie yet. I'm not ready for Opie yet.
I'm surprised.
And that's the whole
How long
fucking
ago was
story.
that?
That's a couple of years easily now. That might even be like
I think
that might even be like 5 years ago by now.
I think the way I heard that story was that Howard said, Weeze, that's not why I'm here to talk to you.
Right.
Wait, you know some of that?
Yeah, I remember hearing,
It's fun.
But
Howard,
me and Weeze are that tight, though.
Yeah.
He's like a father figure. He's like a brother to me. I would not be here today listening to Steven Singer's boring Billboard story if it wasn't for Brother Weeze.
Right.